What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. It's going to be a tough day for EA Sports, man. Let me tell you. If you didn't already know, they've delayed next gen, and we know EA Sports. We're not stupid. We're not dumb consumers. You can't do anything meaningful with another month. The hard work should have already been done, and it's not. But take a look at what 2K has done. They've went out, and there was some backlash, which really irritates me. You know, women are athletes. Women's sports deserve to be respected. There were people complaining about the WNBA being included in 2K. To me, I'm going to take a different stance, though. You have to understand, there is going to be a secondary league included in this game with a My Player mode before Madden has a My Player mode properly implemented for its gamers. That's astonishing to me. They're a whole league behind now with 2K. And it's attention to detail. It's caring. It's putting passion into your product. It's watching games. It's being a fan. All those things that just don't seem to come out of EA, right? Here's Steph Curry warming up before a game. All right, let's talk about Madden. When's the last time you saw players warm up and they weren't in full pad uniforms? When's the last time you went into a practice mode and they weren't in full pad uniforms? Happens all the time. It's presentation, it's caring, and it goes across the board. You can literally take almost any image, and maybe I will. Maybe I'll do a long video, go back through 2K, and show you guys what's been in games, right? Take a look at this image right here. At first, it's just a female sideline reporter, right? And then you realize Madden doesn't have sideline reporters. Then you look in the background and say, wait a second, there's players that aren't suited up for the game. Madden doesn't have that. In Madden, every player is ready to go in. There's no players that are injured. There's no players that are in tracksuits. There's no players that are certainly wearing a variation of pants, shirts, hoodies, hats, beanies. It's just everyone's the same. Look at the assistant coaches. Every team has the same one. This is a game that doesn't have referees. And then you look at other sports titles in the marketplace, and you really can't even compare them. Because EA is so far behind. And I know that it's bad, and we all know that it's bad, but when they get a whole league behind, and I know someone's going to sit there and say, but Ryan, there's no counterpart, right? There's no WNFL. Okay, but listen, hear me out. EA does a lot of things that we don't ask for. EA puts a lot of things in the game that we don't request. You're only limited by your desire to want to make the best product. No one primed EA to put high school football in, but they did for MUT, they did for their My Player mode, which is very lackluster compared to what 2K does, by the way, as far as depth and replayability. All they would have had to do is put in some type of secondary league. I mean, other games have done this, guys. Go look at Access Football. They've got 3 different tiers that they play in. Go look at Maximum Football. They understand the concept of high school, college, pro. Right? We know there's been secondary leagues across the board. Whether it's the Spring League, whether it was Arena Football, whether it was the XFL. It doesn't take a lot of constructive thinking to implement other leagues into a game to provide a feeder system for players to go out in free agency. Guess what? Not every player that comes in off free agency actually was just sitting there doing nothing at their house. Some of them have actually been active in other leagues. Not every player that comes into the NFL does so through the NFL draft. That's what EA would have you think, but that's not the reality. And the fact of the matter is, you're just seeing a continuation of a company not prepared to put its game out, much less the best game out, and knows that, in my opinion, the only chance they have to sell this game to a consumer or dual entitlement to a customer is they have to get as far away from this as they can. They've got to let this game hit the market and chill out for a couple weeks before they come out with Madden, because you put this game head-to-head as a sports title only. I'm not talking about anything other than the sports genre of video games. You put Madden Next Gen against this, and I don't know how one gamer is going to say, yeah, give me Madden. Give me that EA game. They're going to look at that and say, wow, that looks like the most basic, fundamental, broken, sorry excuse. What's the user score? Oh, it's a 0.2. You know what? I'm probably not going to go with that. Maybe I'll just see if they have Tetris on Next Gen. It's finally all coming to fruition for EA. The years of not caring about its product, the years of not respecting its customer, they're here. And what is EA doing with its spare time? Well, you know what they've been doing? They've went out and created a whole series called Underrated. Not about their game rating, but rather about players that they feel are underrated in the game, and they have them bicker with Clint or the equipment guru about why their ratings are low, and they have a guy go through and walk them through some training drills so we can say how they can become better players. Is it amazing to you as it is to me that when you look at where these two games are in the actual relationship they have with their customer and with their players, it is extremely negative. For people that say that I have a negative channel, I want you to understand that most of the interactions that Madden and EA have with players is that players are upset and feel disrespected by their ratings. You don't often see 2K coming out and creating a whole series with how they feel they've misrepresented players in the NBA. You have, for the most part, go to EA's Twitter, look at what you see sold to you now as Madden Ultimate Team. Go to 2K's Twitter, and you'll see a complete feed of WNBA players that are happy to be represented in the game, that are not bickering about their speed or agility ratings, and they're not selling the game based on ratings. They're selling the game based on, we put a quality product together, and we're going to show you that quality product. So it amazes me that EA continues to drive this wedge of negativity between themselves, the customer who's very much fed up with the product, and the professional athlete that feels like the game doesn't represent the sport or themselves. So when you tell me that I can't make positive content, I'm looking at a company that's very negative in every interaction they have. That's why you have Keenan Allen last week coming out and saying the game is trash. Keenan Allen isn't saying his ratings are trash. Keenan Allen is saying, to a degree, I can't be represented in Madden properly. The way he plays football isn't conducive to animation-based gameplay, isn't conducive to this is what Keenan Allen does. Keenan Allen makes his quarterbacks better because he has the ability to go catch passes that might not otherwise be completions. That's something Madden can't handle. Madden doesn't understand the catch radius of a player. Madden only understands, can he make spectacular catches? That's why there's no catch radius in Madden. You either get the animation or you don't. And I'll tell you right now, if you're Keenan Allen and you've worked for years to perfect your craft, if you know you're going out and making your quarterbacks look better, whether they're veterans or rookies, and you look at a game that is completely dependent on replicating you by what animation you or the defensive back get, yeah, I probably would say that game is pretty much trash because it's not respecting a thing that you do. And you can put in as many ratings as you want. You can edit as many ratings as you need. But the reality is, until you actually get players that can move freely from each other and interact with the ball as its own item, not clicking together like puzzle pieces, you are not going to get football replicated. And that's where the frustration comes with everyone. EA knows it. EA's seen it. EA has heard it. And all they've continued to do is find new ways to make sure we're stuck playing animation ball. And maybe it wouldn't even be that bad if they would go out and follow through on putting things in the game. But when you go look at other sports titles in the marketplace, you can look at single pictures and see EA is so far behind. But you know what? They've got an extra 2 weeks now they've bought. They've said that they're not prepared. They've said that they're not ready. The homework isn't done yet. They need a little bit more time to study. And all this should do, for you and for me, is let them know, now you owe us even more. Now our expectations, which were incredibly low, have been raised. Because you've said to us, we're not willing to put out what we have now. We're going to make it a little better. So you better bring the best game that you have, because clearly the competitors in the marketplace have, and they're sitting there working to take advantage of a next-gen console, not take advantage of their customers by giving them the same game on a next-gen console. And I have a very, very supremely confident, in the words of Chuck Pagano, feeling that EA isn't looking to take advantage of a next-gen console. They're looking to take advantage of a customer. Love to know your thoughts on this. Appreciate you checking it out, and you know I will be back in the week with more commentary.